Thank you for auditing Professor Skye's Record Review, the only first listen new music review show hosted by a French professor immediately after leaving the gym. I'm going to be reviewing Eternal Atake by Lil Uzi Vert, and I promise you this is going to be a positive review. I don't do negative reviews. I do, however, find it interesting to analyze things very deeply, and a lot of things I'm going to say are going to sound oppressive, but it's going somewhere. It's an important album to listen to and to understand if you want to understand where hip-hop is right now. If I'm your professor, this is your homework. If you're an old man like me in his 40s and you're going, what's up with hip-hop? The answer is not anywhere else but in this album. I'm going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about a truly great song that is as good as any hip-hop song that's ever been made, and that's hidden on this album right in the middle. But before that, I want to talk about my initial impressions. So my son, who's in high school, he told me this morning, he's like, Dad, you got to review Lil Uzi Vert. I'm like, I plan on it. He's like, no, everybody's listening to it. It's everywhere. And so I started listening to tracks. I started like skipping around, you know, and like every track, boom, boom, and his rapping is just non-stop. Words, 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 words. And the word that came to my mind was oppressive. Is trap music oppressive? Is this album oppressive? I get it that if you like it, it builds you up and you get excited and you get pumped. But if you don't, it's just like, oh, with the hi-hats, would you take it easy? Would you take a breath? Would you give some space? So what I want to do for you now is, as I was driving to the gym, I was listening to one of the songs on the album, and I recorded what it feels like for me as an old man who grew up on hip-hop, who's ambivalent about trap. This is how Lil Uzi Vert sounds to me. Up, agana pitching 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 up. First of all, I apologize to my son. Some of his friends watch this channel, partly to make fun of him. So I just gave him a lot of fuel. I apologize to my son, and you're welcome to his friends. But this is way too cartoonish, right? There's a lot more going on here than what I just did. But that's how it sounds. You throw in a little bit of hi-hat behind that racket I just made, and you have a little bit of what it sounds like for much of this album. But that's not really fair. Lil Uzi Vert, I would say, has 3 different modes on display in this album. He has a future trap rap badass, like that's his style. He has a sort of bad boy lover persona. And then he has little hints of a vaguely emotional young man. The lover boy, the bad boy lover, and the emotional side are usually indicated by the presence of a vocoder. I'm feeling, I don't feel nothing. A little bit of that. To his credit, there's not too much of that kind of faux emotional stuff. So I want to spend a little bit of time, actually most of the time, talking about this trap mode, this trap badass mode, and why is it so oppressive to listen to for somebody like myself? You know, I grew up on Public Enemy. Right? Public Enemy is intentionally aggressive. The Bomb Squad, the people who produced Public Enemy albums, their avowed goal was to destroy music. So I'm not saying that I need to have music that's okay to listen to. But part of what makes trap interesting, what I think people like about it, is its repetition. The fact that you know you're going to get that hi-hat and the bass underneath. And the repetition. 300 on a 2-door Benz, 300 on a 2-door Benz, 3-door on a 200 Benz, 300 on a 2-door Benz. Balenci. Now, of course, the question is, what really separates 300 on a 2-door Benz from Gucci Gang? I'm being heretical. Obviously, Lil Pump, I think, is the guy who does Gucci Gang. He's a joke. Lil Uzi Vert is serious. What makes him more serious? I'll get into that. But it's just this repetition, I think, is really at the heart of what makes trap music stupid and good at the same time. He's great. Lil Uzi Vert is great at picking out lines that have interesting, sounds and resonance and just repeating them over and over again and having it match with the beat. The themes are relentless. That's the other thing. When he's in this trap mode, the themes are just always the same. He's got Louis shoes. He's got Louis shoes. He's got Gucci pants. The number one theme that comes through on this album, well, first of all, to be honest, don't be surprised if in the next 10 years he gets arrested for statutory rape. There's a weird undercurrent of sleeping with underage women on this album. Just take a listen. You'll hear what I'm saying. Anyways. But beyond that, I would say the number one theme, the thing that he repeats the most, that I heard the most, is bragging about his designer underwear. I wear Versace, you wear Fruit of the Loom. He says that like 5 times. Versace, Fruit of the Loom, Versace, Fruit of the Loom. And, that mixed in with just constant sex references, very weird. It's very weird, right? The sex in trap music is very weird. It's very much about group sex or about the disposability of the women that they're with, the lack of worth of the women that they're with. All this kind of mixed together with this other element where when you have the romantic stuff, he actually does seem to be somewhat concerned with a woman's pleasure. It's a very, very mixed message on here. I believe he says played with her kitten like 30 times on this album. I don't know if he's like faux modesty or what it is. But the sum effect of all this, the constant ticky taps, the same themes, repeating things over and over again, is that you make it think that it sounds like this. So, okay, if I'm doing kind of a interesting take, whatever, if I'm just sort of dissecting and talking down, literally talking down to the camera, it's a little bit low, unintentional. Lil Uzi Vert, though, gets credit for being future trap. What does future trap mean? Well, in theory, it means that there's some elements of his songs that are futuristic and different. So my hair is just bugging me. I'm just going to let it go. You, audience, don't pay attention to all this up here. Look at my eyes and my mouth. I'm talking to you. All right. When we're talking about future trap, I don't really get it. Some of the songs, like Secure the Bag, has kind of a cool, original, spacey sound. And my favorite track on the album, I'm going to be discussing soon, is definitely an example of what could be considered future trap. But in general, what separates this from, other trap music is all surface. There's these skits. And, often a skit, especially if they're repeated themes, can make an album feel like a theme album, But the skits are so lazy. It's like, hey, what is this? I can't get out. I pressed a button. I got out. I'm not joking. That's one of the skits. That is legitimately one of the skits. And then another skit is like, hey, where am I? I don't know where I am. The cover? It's got a picture of a planet, another planet. And it's cool when you watch it, when you listen to it streaming on Tidal, the cover's animated. It's very cool, but that's pretty surface level to make it future. He seems like he's trying to distance himself from other trap rappers, but not really, because none of his themes are different than theirs. I can't see what makes this different from Amigos' album in terms of the thematics. I mean, at one point he says he's not like other gangster rappers because his pants are tight. So maybe that's what makes him different. But really what it is that he's got charisma. And that's the thing that most trap rappers really don't have. He has actually interesting, positive charisma. And if you watch interviews with him, and if you hear it in his rap, there's some quality that he has that sets him apart from others. And that's his charisma. You just like him. You just find him more interesting than the other trap rappers. But it's really important to emphasize the fact that he's riding on charisma. I mean, he sort of tries to do what Lil Wayne does, have lyrics that are kind of second level weird, But he's so bad at it. I'm not joking. One of the lyrics on here is, I get money like Anthony Hop. Silence the lambs or your ass will get dropped. Okay, if it were Lil Wayne, this line would work because Anthony Hopkins would be known for getting money. That's how that would work. That would make sense. And Silence the Lamb would be more overtly tied into a different lyric about a Lamborghini. Maybe 2 lines forward or 4 lines back. It would be the kind of thing where you listen to it and you just go, damn, Lil Wayne, you act stupid, but you're so smart. I get money like Anthony Hop? What the hell does that mean? Anthony Hopkins isn't known for getting money. He's an old British actor. But his charisma is so good, you just don't care. You just listen to it and you just like it. That's how he gets to pull off calling himself a rock star. You know, like he talks about in interviews how much he loves Kurt Cobain and rock and roll music. That's nowhere on here. That's nowhere on here at all. All the production is just cookie cutter, well, not all of it, most of it, cookie cutter trap production with a whole list of different producers with different names that are all generic. Beats are kind of generic. Really, truly, the thing that makes him different is that he feels different. And I can't define that. I'm a professor, but I can't define grace. A lot of people spend a lot of time trying to define grace, but there is a gracefulness and a specificity to him which defies description. So that's what we're left with. And, you know, it's funny, my son was I was talking with him about the oppressiveness, and he's like, you know, yeah, it's like everyone's got in their AirPods, but those don't block out the sound. So everywhere I walk, I just hear tsk-tsk-tsk-tsk. Just imagine if you're 14 years old, 15 years old right now, your whole life, your whole soundtrack is someone else's AirPods going tsk-tsk-tsk. I got 30 on a $2 band. I got 30 on a $2 band. I picked her up, but she had to walk. I picked her up, but she had to walk. Versace underpants. Versace underpants. You see what I'm saying? It's oppressive. Of course. It's all Reagan and Trump rap anyways. But that's political. I'm not going to get there. So it's all very well heard in a song. So I flipped over to a song like Silly Watch, which is cool. You know, it's got a cool, ominous beat. His rapping style, for the most part, is what I would call horror vacui. That's an old art history term that refers to Greek pottery, where they would be afraid of leaving any space free, so they'd fill everything up. He's constantly going, which is why his best moments are the moments where he gives a little bit of space, dramatic silence, which he doesn't do very often. Then there's the song Pop. I'm going to play the song Pop for you right now, particularly the bit that he repeats. I think it's pretty interesting. Have a listen. I got you. That was the song I was listening to. But now let me actually get to the song that is legitimately awesome, that is legitimately wonderful. You Better Move. It's sparse. The beat is like a siren. This feels like future trap. Whatever future trap might be, this feels like it. There's even like themes of slavery and poverty and like growing up poor. It's not all just about his designer underpants. So I'm going to play you 14 seconds of this song right now.
Versace draws, bitch, you fruit of the loom. Yeah, fruit of the loom. You better move. Oh, you better move. Oh, you better move.
So that's really the best of the album. Then there's the second part, The Lover Boy, which is introduced by a skit. There's a song called I'm Sorry, which is a great not sorry song. It's just not good. I don't like this. I don't like him singing about love. I mean, it feels like he's actually talking about having an affair with his fans and stuff and about emotion, but songs where you say like, I'm sorry that you feel that way, I don't know, he's just young. You gotta be old enough to not sing songs like this, so I don't blame him. There's just a lot, there's like almost half the album is in this register of like sing-songy, auto-tuned tracks about how he's not good to women who he has sex with. There's another little bit, the kind of emotional bit that comes in, the third mode, and on a track like Bigger Than Life or Chrome Heart Tags, which is this very consistent Drake thematics of I can't trust anybody, loyalty means everything to me, nobody cares about me, I need honesty, all that stuff. It's weird, just a little note out here to rappers in general, in case you're watching. If half your songs are about sleeping with other people's girlfriends, the other half of your songs can't be about loyalty. I'm just, there's just a cognitive dissonance there. Anyways, at times in this second mode, these love songs and these emotional songs, you hear about the gospel vocalizing in the back. Oh, I'm sorry. Were you expecting me to mention that this must be influenced from Kanye's most recent phase? That would be ridiculous and cartoonish of me to credit Kanye with anything on this album. How dare you? The most emotional track is P2, the final one, in which he talks about money making him numb. And so here we have this sort of full circle of trap music, you know. I came from nothing. I have everything. I'm so rich. I got designer underpants. But sometimes when I've got my designer underpants, I'm sitting alone and I realize I'm numb and don't feel anything. I don't know why I said that like Mitch McConnell, but that's the space that they end up in. And that's part of the strength of trap music, is this vulnerability, which gangster rap never had. Old school gangster rap, new school gangster rap never had that. So this addition of the sing-songy emo is actually quite important. Because of course there's nothing sadder than some guy sitting in designer underwear realizing that he feels emotionally numb. That's what this is about. This is the emptiness of the Reagan-Trump rap thematics that dominate trap music, that dominate hip-hop. Because, you know, what was needed was not Reaganomics, keeping the ghetto the way the ghetto was, and making the rich richer and the poor poorer. What they needed was more socially minded programs to build up the inner city, you know, help people not grow up in these situations. But instead, they grow up in the situations, and then they get rich, and then they perpetrate it. And then they keep going. They talk about how rich they are, and how poor you are, and how rich I am, and how poor you am. But what's at the end? What's at the end of the whole journey of extreme wealth? Sitting alone in your underwear, alone because you haven't created loyalty, you haven't created connections, you haven't created love, you've created me better than you, you've created I take your girl, I can't trust nobody, I'm alone in my Versace underpants. That's going to be the name of the next Lil Uzi Vert album, Alone in Versace Underpants. And it'll be good. And hopefully he can take his charisma, which is its own kind of talent, and he can build on it and do something really, really interesting. The last two tracks, one of them's terrible, That Way. It's like in sync. It's so bad I'm not even going to review it. And then the Futsal Shuffle, which I reviewed like a month ago. You can watch that up there. I put a link to my review of that song. It's a great song. And thanks to that song, I started watching Nardewar videos. And Nardewar is the greatest thing on the internet. So thank you, Lil Uzi Vert. You are at least different in that way, that you're able to bring people to other influences. So there's my review. I hope you liked it. I hope my son's friends liked it. And there's the camera.